Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've all emptied your bladders and got comfortable for the next segment. So we're still talking to Bettina Hall from Cahoots Clothing in Highgate Hill. Where do we get started? Where does someone get started when they go and see you?
Well, I find that the very best place to do it is we've developed something called a wardrobe audit, because I find it's unethical just to keep making more clothes. Most women only wear 20% of what they own. And we just keep searching for things that work and adding more and more crap to our wardrobe. So I like to go through what you've got first, and I can alter and revamp. And usually about 30% of what you're not wearing, I can alter and shape and give it back to you, and you'll love it.
So hang on, do you go around to their house or do they bring it all to you?
A bit of both. I prefer it if they come to me, and it's $285 to come to me, right? And you bring your wardrobe in, and that's a 2-hour appointment, and I tell you what to bring, right? If I go out to people's houses, it usually takes a lot longer, because there's a lot of stuff shoved into the back of cupboards that, can you imagine? I pull it all out.
I wouldn't let you round. Mine's chaos, my wardrobe.
That sounds like gold to me. So I've got one of those figures where I'm really wide hipped, where I've got this tiny little bottom. So
yes. So I could alter it and fit it and reshape it, definitely.
Oh, that sounds like gold.
So it's $285 for 2.5 hours of your time.
Yep.
And I only had about half an hour with you, and I picked
probably
up so
in the
much.
room we only had like 15 minutes. If you remember.
So you come out a whole new woman after 2.5 hours.
And what I do is I illustrate. So I'm a fashion illustrator. Yeah. So I sit down and illustrate and design, and we come up with fabrics and ideas and colours. Like, people are usually in the wrong colours that don't work for them, and I can demonstrate what colours work and why, and what season you are and all that stuff. So you walk out of there with a file of illustrations, everything's quoted, and there's no obligation. So you can then take that away, do shopping with it, or come back to me when you can't find what you're looking for.
Geez, that's a steal, isn't it, Em? Yep. Blimey, that is. And I have to say, you were so comfortable to be with, because I was like, you know, half naked in that changing room, and I felt quite comfortable. I didn't feel at all embarrassed.
No.
And I felt good. But in fact, at one point, you took off the top you were wearing for me to try on, and Bettina was stood there with her jugs hanging out, you know?
That made you feel a bit more comfortable.
One of the best tips, when I met you at the Polo Club at that charity fundraiser, and I mentioned your fabulous bosom, and I said, it's amazing. I said, are they fake? And you said, no, it's good underpinnings. And the great tip you told me was, and listen up girls, is if you want to look younger, wear a bra that separates your breasts. I mean, so much so that I now glue mine under my armpits.
I'll give you the demonstration, shall I?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so this is a valley, and that is aging. Sorry, a crease. You want a valley, not a crease. So I call that plumber's crack, very unattractive. And then you want to separate and lift, and you want a valley, much more youthful.
It does. It's amazing.
Definitely.
That's a great. Have you got any more tips?
Oh gosh, we could go on for days, but particularly with this weather, this windy winter weather, you know, you get this static thing clinging to you, your skirts are riding up. Very simple. Put some hand cream over the top of your stockings, and it creates a barrier so that usually it's the two dry surfaces rubbing together that creates the electricity. So hand cream, even over dry legs, will do the job, and over the top of leggings or stockings will stop any kind of static electricity.
That's a blinding tip. Yeah. That is a blinding tip, isn't it? That really is a hot tip. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to our next segment now. Thank you so much, Bettina.
Thank you.
You'll stay with me and help me with the next couple of segments,
love to.
because we're going to this week's Top Bloke. Now, this is a segment that's devoted to the really nice guys that you do meet in and around Brisbane that never seem to get any recognition. I mean, there are so many pigs out there, and yet there are so many really nice guys that never ever get a mention. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And I did actually put on Facebook, please would you tell me, girls, the random acts of kindness that you've encountered from guys. And I was staggered and really like hacked off to get so many comments about, I mean, Vanessa, for instance, a friend of mine, Vanessa Gray, she come up with a comment and said, "Oh, Anne, I just want to thank my Tony because while I've been getting my business off the ground this past 12 months, he's been doing the cooking and the cleaning and the ironing and getting the lunches on and you know what, Vanessa, I want to talk you through the facts of life. That's his role, okay? That's his job, all right? And he's doing that so you will have energy later on for some sexual congress. Huh? So I don't want to hear about your magnificent husbands. That is their job. I mean, I never got any medals, and I'm sure all you women didn't get medals out there, and I didn't expect medals for keeping the home fires burning while my husband was out there furthering his career. So I don't want to hear about your husband. I'm sure they're fabulous. I want to hear about some strange guy, like, for instance, the first guy I want to nominate this week is Brett Sherrin. I think we've got a picture of Brett. There he is, gorgeous guy, okay? Brett's actually a friend of mine. And a few weeks ago, the husband was in Melbourne and I was at the kitchen sink, and I'm really at the sink. I don't know what I was doing there. I must have been on drugs. But anyway, as I'm pottering about at the sink came away from the granite and there was water everywhere and my arsehole went. I thought, Christ, what am I going to do? Like, you know, Kev's away for a whole week and I bricked it. So I rang Melissa, and Melissa is Brett's wife. And I said, Mel, what am I going to do? She said, ring Brett. So I phoned Brett. Now this Brett, right, that gorgeous hunk of spunk you just saw on the screen, works a 14-hour day. He makes cold rooms, Sub-Zero cold rooms, Cavallo Bar. So he's out working his cojones off, 14, 16-hour days. So I phoned Brett for advice on what I could do to fix up this sink. He said, Anne, leave it. Just leave it. He said, I'll be over today after work. He came round at 6:30 that night after having been up since 4:30. He had all the business. He had all the silicone, he shored it up with wood, he glued it all back in. He'd done a magnificent job. Now this bloke spent 2 hours at my house. Now he could have just said, ring the granite company, get them to sort it. But he didn't. He came over, he did that.
That's beyond
that is just gorgeous, really. That is just absolutely lovely. So that was Brett. And then we've got Wayne Fullard. Is it what? Ah, look at lovely Wayne. Now, this is a guy, Narelle Facebooked me about this guy. He looks really kind. He's got a kind face, hasn't he? And that apparently is Wayne Fullard. And that's, she moved into her house last summer. It was very hot this particular day. She's got 6 kids and she's a widow. And he got talking to her and he can't help it.
6 kids.
She doesn't have a cock.
6 kids. Sounds like she's had a bit.
Anyway,
kids.
they get talking, and she's really hot and bothered. And Wayne actually installs aircon. And when he found out she didn't have an aircon unit in her house, and she's got these 6 kids, and she's exhausted, he found a spare unit in his garage and installed it into her home for nothing, out of the kindness of his heart. Now that is a really sweet thing to do. Okay, so girls, we have to discuss. Okay, who do we think deserves the trophy of this? It's just something pathetic. I put together. No one ever said this is a flash show. Okay, it's a big tie with. Never mind. But and anyway, and something else, because once we've decided on who gets the trophy, whether it be Brett Sherrin or Wayne Fullard. Good friends of the Very Ann Show, Hoppy's Hand Wash Cafe, are giving as a prize every week a free car wash to the winner. So who do we think? Brett, who helped me out, or Wayne, who?
I think it should be Wayne. That sounds, the finding a free air conditioner and installing it for nothing, that is amazing, and that's going to make the biggest difference to her life.
It is. I mean, it was very kind. He's a neighbour and...
I completely agree with that, especially with the 6 children as well.
Yeah.
That was a lovely thing to do. But then again, we've got to look at...
Whilst we're glad you got rescued, we think that might be a slightly larger importance.
Totally outnumbered. Okay. Wayne Fullard, you are this week's top bloke. Look, I hate to disappoint you. This fabulous trophy is a bit like the Ashes. You might have won it, but you can't take it home, okay? But if you contact us, follow me or Facebook or Twitter me, we will get you a voucher for Hoppy's Hand Wash Cafe to you. Thank you.